All right, so hopefully everything is working. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody here at the Bowen, everybody at home. No, you may have noticed I'm not Travis Rhodes. He's a little bit taller than me, but not to worry, not all. You'll know what's going on in just a couple minutes. But we got an exciting night, our first meeting of the year, a little bit different process as we're doing it, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share the screen and get the slideshow started. So we're going to do a little bit of business. We're going to talk about events as long as Rick is online because he's not here. And then we're going to go right to our photo challenge and critique. Our theme was your best of 2024. Our judge is here tonight. He's Jeff Gulle, and he's going to critique all the images. We actually had 28 images sent to us, so it's a lot. I think that might be a record. And unlike last year where we did show the judges the pictures ahead of time, Jeff has not seen any of them yet. So it'll really be a fresh look and I'm excited about it. But before we go on, we've got a recording, a video to show you. So share.
North Georgia Photography Club. Welcome to the first meeting of 2025. For those in the room, thanks for being there in person. For everyone on Zoom, thanks for joining in. We've got a great meeting in store for you tonight. But first, don't let the fact that I'm not there fool you. No, I haven't quit. I just happen to be hopefully on a plane coming back from Syracuse, New York from a work trip. Sometimes I can control when I'm going to be on the road and sometimes I can't. In the case of this month, I wasn't able to control that, but I will be back and I will be around for the meeting in February coming up. It is time to renew your dues for 2025. If you have not done so, please consider doing that as soon as you can. It's $20 for an individual and $30 for a family. Based on what Mike is telling me about our renewals already, we're already ahead of the schedule for what we normally would see this time of year. So thank you to those that have already renewed your dues for 2025. And for those that haven't yet, or those that have not been a member yet, please consider renewing your dues for the club year. Paying your dues allows you to participate in club field trips, workshops when we do it, and it allows you to participate in the photo review. Photo review is limited to paid members only. You don't have to be a paid member to be at the meeting or on the Zoom meeting, but you do have to be a paid member to be a part of the photo review. So that's just another benefit that you get out of paying your dues. So I would encourage you to renew your dues if you haven't yet, or if you have not become a member of the club in the past, do your dues for the first time. Speaking of meetings, as you know, the meeting format's changing a little bit for this year. We're trying it out to see how it goes with doing photo review as a standalone meeting and then having a guest speaker as a standalone meeting. We're going to alternate and rotate months as it works out for our speaker's schedule or the guest judges' schedules. This month, we have Jeff Gulle. If you've never heard Jeff Gulle do a photo review, you are in for a treat tonight. Thank you to everybody that submitted images. We've had a lot more images submitted for photo review tonight than we normally do, and I'm really excited about that. I think everyone's going to get a lot from it. Jeff always has great feedback and insight, and all of it is with the goal of helping you get to become a better photographer. The photo review should not be seen simply as a competition. It shouldn't be, I'm going to win first place, or I don't think my images are good enough to win first place. It should be about education and learning. If nothing else, you should take away from photo review the helpful insight and critiques that the guest judges offer up, not only for your images, but for others. It could lead to helping you think of something different when you're out in the field or when you're sitting at the computer doing your editing. All of it is designed to help us become better photographers. So if you submitted this month, thank you. If you didn't, please consider submitting for the next photo review that's going to be happening in April. It's really not about the competition and the points. That's just for fun. It really is about the helpful insight and critique from the judges to make us better photographers. Next month, we're going to have Dusty Doddridge as our guest speaker. He's going to be talking about spring photography, not boing, boing, boing spring, more like the season of spring. We're coming up on spring, and so he's going to be sharing some composition tools and insight and examples on creating spring magic. And you're really in for a treat for that one. Dusty is a photographer I've been following for a long time. I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his teaching style, and I think you're really going to enjoy that. In March, we're going to have Mike Motes talking about macro photography. Macro photography was something on our member survey that was one of the main topics that everyone wanted to hear more about or learn more about. So we went out and we've got one of the best national macro teachers and photographers that's going to do a Zoom only presentation for us. So March is going to be Zoom only. You can stay home in the comfort of your own easy chair with your favorite drink with you. And we're all going to be on Zoom in March. In April, we will resume with another photo review. We haven't determined the themes and topics yet, but we will let you know well in advance so that you can be prepared for the April photo review. I'm going to turn it over to Rick to talk about field trips. He has field trips planned for every single month this year. He's been putting a lot of work in trying to maximize our field trip opportunities for the year. So if there's not something this month that you like, take a look at the schedule and see what he's got going on for the rest of the year. I'm sure there's something that's going to get everybody else excited and ready to go out on a field trip with other like-minded people in the club. So I'm going to turn it over to Rick, and I will see the rest of you back in February for the February meeting. Thanks for coming out.
Mike, I'm ready if you guys can hear me. Patrick is nodding yes.
Rick, hang on just a second.
Or Patrick has turned into a bobblehead, one or the other. No?
Right,
Okay.
so we know the video is choppy, but we are hardwired, so not much we can do, but it's better than when we're going by Wi-Fi. And Marty or somebody asked if you pay the dues on the website. Yes, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a link on there. I think it's pinned to the top of the page, and you can just click on that, and that'll take you to the dues page. If you can't find it, just shoot me a message, and I'll definitely get you over there. All right, let me put the slideshow back on.
Mike, are you not able to hear me well? Is it too choppy? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I was reading your message, but I can hear you fine.
Okay, do you want me to run through a couple of the field
I'm getting the
trips, or-
slideshow up. All right. Oops. All right, is everybody seeing the slideshow?
Yes.
All right, go for it, Rick.
Yeah, well, that's good for now. What you've got up on the slide is right. Of course, Wheeler is, most of us are heading up, almost all of us are heading up there tomorrow. So that's going to be a mostly tomorrow thing. Saturday, there should be some rain, but at least we'll get our shots Friday. Callaway Gardens in February, that's butterflies and also the Raptor Show. We did this a few years ago, and it's back by popular demand. Literally, people requested it when I sent out the form asking y'all what you wanted to do. Stone Mountain in March. For this one, we've got Larry Winslet, our expert in the Monadnocks, Stone Mountain and Arabia. Larry's going to help us out by taking us to the some of the locations, to see the wildflowers that you really can't see any other way except to have somebody who has the permission to use those trails, and Larry has that. That'll be March 15th. I have not sent that invitation out yet. The other two have already gone. This one hasn't gone out just because I'm waiting on some specifics from Larry, but it will be March 15th. And then finally, we'll just go as far as April. Again, the annual Florida trip for birding, 24th through the 27th. This time we're in the Gainesville, Florida area with Paynes Prairie and Sweetwater Wetlands Park. You know, all the usual large birds that you find in Florida, plus alligators. And uniquely to Paynes Prairie, bison. There's a possibility of being able to photograph some bison there in the wild, and plenty of other critters. So those are the first 4 months. We do, as Travis mentioned, have field trips planned for every month of the year through November. We leave December open for people to enjoy family and whatnot, but we've got something for every month, at least one item for each month. And Mike, to you.
All righty. Another chat question. Oh, somebody posted the link. Rick, who's leading the Florida bird trip? Is that you?
Yeah, the Florida bird trip is me. I manage all the trips as far as the whole process of sending out the invitations, collecting the signups, all of that. I do all of that, but I don't lead every trip. The trip tomorrow, for instance, is being led by our friend Umit Yuxel from CPS. But the Florida trip will be me, yes.
Okay. It's like when we do the train chase, that's always me. I don't know when that is yet because I haven't gotten the schedule yet, but there will be one. All right. Thank you, Rick. And we miss you tonight, but have fun tomorrow. All right, so now it is time for our photo challenge. So our rules are pretty much the same as they were last year. 1 image per member, no composites. You don't need to be present to be here. Your images should be no older than 2 years from the date of the challenge. Although for this year, it had to be taken in 2024 because the theme was your best of 2024. Each month, we're going to have an independent judge. Jeff Gulle is our judge this month. And like I said, he has not seen these images yet. So he's going to be looking at them for the first time, and he will be critiquing them. When we are done, he is going to pick his 5 favorites, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. We will reward points. At the end of the year, the person with the most points will be the photographer of the year. The photographer of the year wins $100 and free membership for 2026. And then we also have a monthly winner. The monthly winner receives a $15 Amazon gift card. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. And so we have each picture numbered so we can kind of keep track of it. Yeah, they're not charged. You might need to stand over here.
This is a beautiful image. I walked up to it because I wanted to see if it was sharp edge to edge. And an image like this doesn't have to be sharp edge to edge, but it depends on the photographer and what they're trying to portray. So I wanted to see what they were playing with here. Beautiful image. I love the texture. I love the repetition. I love the way there's this like tripling in the, whoops. When I say tripling, I like things in threes, and there's all these groups in there. If there's anything to improve on, and I'm not saying this one needs to be improved because I leave it like it is, you could print it, you could sell it. Potentially, I would burn down the top left edge corner and maybe the right corner. I would play with that and see. If you look carefully at the image, the bottom of it is vignetted, and so it brings you up. So I don't know. And so the maker, if they have time, play with it. And that's really the only suggestion I've got for this image. Potentially, you could rotate it 90 degrees. You could flip it. Different things like that you could play with just to see how it makes you feel if you're the maker of it. Also, so how I am when I'm out there shooting, it's one of my mantras is you got to work it. You got to work it. So you walk along and you see this dried mud and you see it on the ground. And you're like, holy smokes, this is incredible. So you start to work it. I work it at an angle, 45-degree angle. I shoot straight down on it. It depends on the light. Do I then put a diffuser out there? Do I pull my flash out? Do I hit it from the side to create more texture? So if my light is from the up above, it's flat. So I want you to work it. So by the same token, when you are pulling that image up on your computer, I want you to work it. Just because you shot it horizontal, I'm not saying that this image was shot horizontal, but just because it is presented in the horizontal format doesn't mean that you have to keep it in the horizontal format. Now, I do like the way this line comes in. This line here comes in and it zigzags and comes all the way through. So that works well with it. And that's really it. It's a beautiful image as it is. Don't know if I would manipulate it and adjust it. Art and photography, many times you don't know when to stop. And depending on your personality, you can look at an image and look at an image, manipulate it, do this, do that. You go back, you do revisions, you mess with it, and it can drive you crazy. So at some point, just boom, that's it. Now, you could say, I'm done with this in color and maybe manipulate it in black and white and create a version like that. Create one and maybe an infrared, et cetera. I love infrared. But anyways, it's a great image, whoever created it. Mike, next
All
one.
right, before we go to the next one, we have a bunch of things on chat, which I have not looked at because I don't want to block the picture. Can people hear Jeff? Okay, are there any issues?
The chat
Or are you
says
just chatting amongst yourselves?
some people say they can't see the picture.
What are you seeing?
Oh, I see the picture.
I'm sorry, I just unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I was one of the ones who's having trouble. What I see looks like a kind of a dark reddish pattern. I'm not sure what it is because I was so busy trying to find the photo. Is the photo that we're supposed to be looking at one that looks like I don't know, a macro photo of some kind of reddish object that has a lot of crinkles and
Yeah, it's sort of an abstract.
yeah, okay, then in that case, I'm there, and I'm sorry
Yeah, I
for.
think you're seeing what you're supposed to see. That's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing what I'm supposed to see. So, okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is kind of new the way we're doing this, so I want to make sure if there's any issues, we know what's going on. All right. So our next shot's a landscape. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. I think we're
Everything's
good.
fine. Okay.
All right, another beautiful image. This is a landscape. And in terms of the composition, I don't think I would adjust anything on it if I was gonna make any manipulations. But it might be with in terms of dodging and burning, manipulating my saturations. So let me start over. And let me just say, I like the texture. I like the way that it flows left to right. I like the fact that the smoke is on the right-hand side. And as I go into the image, I run all the way through to that. I like the fact that there's this stone here that sort of brings me back over to this point here. I run into it and I sort of circle around. All right. So I like the path of it. I like the way that it makes me feel. The problems that I have with it is this funky transition line that we've got down here. And then this is where I would, play with my saturation, I would select it in the develop module. And then I would, tweak it. For me, it's a little bit artificial. And maybe it could be the TV screen that's messing with me. I want it more warmer, and I think it's a little bit too green for me, but I do like the way that the color floats all the way up this cloud and goes up into here. This is really cool. And then I wish this were blocked here, because I have a feeling, look at that beautiful color up in here.
Somebody knows how to minimize that.
Yeah, well, no big cheese, but you could see up there,
Yeah.
when it hits over there.
We can't see what there is.
Here more. And floating meeting consoles.
All right, there we go. I knew it could be done.
Yeah.
You're hired.
That's true. So this top right corner in here. So I like the warmth and the color of that. So yeah, there's a lot of positives. I like the image. I like what the maker has done and created and captured. I would make a little manipulations here and there, and then I don't know where it'll end up, but great shot.
Number 3.
Love the depth. I love the depth. I like the color. I like the texture. This is just a really cool shot. I'm holding this. I think I can hang it. There we go. Yeah, this is beautiful. The double mountaintops, and then especially as the color saturation changes over to the right. If I were going to make any changes to this image, I might crop up off the bottom. On the very bottom of it, there doesn't appear to be any detail, and it looks like it's pure black. And I could be wrong. Something's got no detail and pure black. Yeah, I'm going to give the maker a little bit of credit here. I think there's something there. If it goes pure black, then we need to crop it. And if there is some detail, which I think there potentially is in here, maybe we don't crop it as hard. But you can see a physical line here, and then the actual bottom of the photograph here. So we could lose a little bit. And if it's just pure black down there, then we could lose a little bit more. Then by doing that, it pushes the viewer further up into this color and this texture up in here. So, but that's beautiful. Yeah. I like it. The more I look at that sky too, geez, I see these specular highlights in here and the way that they're duplicated up in the upper part of the sky. That's awesome.
I wish we came over here so people could see where you're pointing at, but that's all right.
We'll improve. So
All
we'll
right.
improve all the way.
Number 4.
I love the timing on the shot. I love the shutter speed. The fact that I think that he's flying through the air, capturing, stop the action. Something that I would like to see, but it's not a requirement. I'd love to see the ball. So whether the ball is coming in, whether it's partially in the glove, I'm not sure. I'm sort of missing that. There's so many positives in this image. I also would move him more off center. So I would crop a little bit more to the right, crop a little bit out on the right, and on the grass in the foreground, I would bring it a little bit darker. Okay. So when you're shooting sports, I started my career as a photojournalist and I made it all the way to the AJC. So I was at the AJC in, geez, 86. Anyways, I did do sports. I forget the guys' names. Yeah, it's not important. If you guys look it up, you'll know the two guys in all sports. Once in a while, I fill in. And those guys, they could anticipate. They knew. And so when you photograph sports, this is your grandson, this is your son, whichever, he's out there, you're watching him and you want to get a good photograph of him. So anticipate, you hear the ball hit, pop, and then you sort of start to see the movement and you just have to work it. And it takes practice. It takes shooting a lot of images. I recently got a camera that shoots over 100 frames a second. I can't imagine it, but somehow it does that. And then you could go through and selectively get the one with the ball in. So there's a lot of positives to this photo and a lot of ways to potentially improve on it. And also I want to point out that we have detail in the white pants. There's detail in the white pants, detail in the arm fabric. So, I mean, you nailed the exposure. It's beautiful. And just maybe we can improve on it, depending on who the photographer was. If they did take more, maybe select another one. Good job. You guys are blowing me away.
Have fun trying to pick a winner.
This is beautiful. All right, so there's repetition here. We've got the reflection in the foreground, we've got the birds in the background, but awesome timing. We've stopped the action on the water. There's something wacky going on here, which catches me, which is just cool. I don't know what that little edge there popping up. Yeah, behind the alligator with the mouth open. Potentially could be. But that's what I'm seeing. Now, and I'm glad today that we're using a TV, because if we use other forms of projection, I wouldn't see it as good as I'm looking at this. All right, so what I'm trying to do, the problem that I've got with it is the birds, with the exception of up and down, left to right, they are dead center. So I'm trying to decide if we did crop the right-hand side, if we did crop it, could we crop it? Would it improve the photo? I was telling Mike, the next time we do this, we can pull up an image and I could do it in the development module and just hit a couple buttons and I could quickly pull it and we could see whether that improves it or not. For sure, we can burn this down, darken this a little bit here, and bring in around in this area here as well. But that is a beautiful, sharp image. I love the stop action that we got. We're back at the repetition and the reflection in the foreground. A little bit softer, and then they're really beautiful and sharp up above. I mean, that's just a great shot. Another great image that I'm looking at here. I'm also looking at the presentation. So the individual put it inside of a fictitious 4x5,
It is 4x5.
or it is, yeah, it very well could be 4x5. So I started my career at photography school shooting a 4x5 camera. And I will tell you, I carried that sucker all over. I still have bad memories in the dark room for years at a time. So with the 4x5 camera, I'm sort of tingling because this was a lot of work. You nailed the exposure, and I don't know if the photographer used Tri-X plus T-Max when it came out, but look at this exposure, especially on film. We've got specular highlights, we've got detail in the highlights, we got shadows, we got darks here with detail in it. This is a beautiful shot. All right, now. Where I'm bummed by two things. Impact. So when I first see the image, it hits me, but it doesn't hit me as well as I believe that it could. And that's impact. And I'm not sure if this is my problem or that is what makes the print. So if the photographer has it digitally, if the photographer would darken that just a touch and see what it does. And let me ask you guys, as you're looking at it, does that pull you too hard to the center? And the fact that it is dead center, does that mess you? No. All right, so just work it. I mean, it's just an incredible photo already. And like I said, I'm back sitting in the dark room, 5 seconds every 30 seconds, shaking that damn tray. In the total dark, whether my eyes are open or not, I have no idea. Oh, wow. The technical skills involved to create that, that's awesome. So photographer, maker, great job. Try to manipulate that a little bit and see what happens. And then, this is going to sound like crazy, but today we can do it. Select this and then do AI. And let's see what AI does right dead center. I know, you're shaking your head. It's something new to me too. Sometimes I'll do it, but the rules today, depending on your association, might not allow it. But give it a shot. For sure you can darken it. I love it. It's a great shot. Next image. I love this commercial architecture. Okay, so we have taken, someone is doing a commercial image, and we're going to call it architecture. And so I then look at the lines, and the lines have to be perfect. And it depends. Is this someone doing it? How do I word this? Are they being paid to be an architect photographer? Are they paid to be the catalog's spokesman? Is this the subway showing how efficient it moves through? And the reason why I'm bringing all that up is the line, horizontal line, is slightly off as you go left and right. If we were to run a grid down it, we could see it for sure. All right, so how are we going to use this photograph? If we're going to use it for architecture, then it needs to be adjusted. All right. The second thing potentially we need to look at is this line goes straight down the middle. All right. So that line down the middle is essential to this S curve on the subway, but that line is down the middle and it is dividing the photo. I was talking to, I think it was at Margaret earlier. Oh, Michelle, sorry about that. Yeah, and I asked her what her shutter speed was on that image. And this one is a long shutter, and you can tell by it. It's beautiful. Add that into it. Look at the cars, disappearing cars down here. Gives you an idea of the length of the exposure. So we can fix the lines, we can recrop it, or if the photographer has another image where they turn the camera more to the left then. We turn the camera more to the left, we get more here, we could crop here, it would move this line over. Potentially, that's possible. Another things I like on the photo is reflections of these other buildings. And you could even do a photo of just those reflections. And if you wanted to, you could do that and see how beautiful that is. So photographer, great job, and just little manipulations here and there, you could go further. I don't think so. All right, so great work. I like the head-on shot. I like the fact that one eye is slightly lower than the other. I like the fact that the face is slightly turned. If anything, both of those I like a little bit more, or perfect. So either the subject is straight on, perfect with me, horizontal, vertical, or if we're going to be tilted, then let's tilt it a little bit more than it's slightly at right now. Okay. Now, another thing also, if you look at it carefully, it's not sharp. So we can try, play with your clarity maybe, sharpness, and see what more we can get. Or I should say, not enough of it is sharp enough for me. Every person is different. So the eyes, the reflection in the eyes appear sharp, but as we go towards the nose and all that, it drops off, and it quickly drops off beyond the eyebrows. So just some slight adjustments on this. But man, it's great. I love the pose, holding the hands in front. I like the little toe popping through. I like the diagonal lines on the wood down here. Potentially, I could darken this edge just 5%, a little bit, to bring you in. And go from there. Great job. This is a great story. This is a great image here. I love the S curve on the line, on the fishing pole line, whatever we call that. I like the repeating curve here as it goes around. I'd love to see this not come to an end. I'd love to see it loop back. So I don't know if we cropped it out and made it come to an end. There's a lot of photographers that would call that right there a tension point. Well, I'll say that again. It's a tension point in the photo. Your eye goes to it and it sort of hangs there. So, you know, if we pulled further back, if we, you know, manipulated that just a tiggle there to get it to circle right back around. But we have this big, beautiful frame. And so this is a beautiful frame. We did lose detail in the highlights here. All right, so we don't have detail there, which unfortunately the harsh sunlight was hitting on this side. We exposed for the shadow, and in order to nail that, we'd have to do something creative. And so we did miss out here. So your eye does go up here. It goes to this tension point here. It goes up in here and sort of hangs. I would burn this down and this edge down here and see where it goes. Now I'm gonna go back and look again myself and try and visualize in my mind. But I love the color. I love the depth of it as it goes on in. It's a two-dimensional piece of art, but it feels so three-dimensional the way this image was taken. Good job. This is a neat shot on the beach. And of course, I'd love to be a lifeguard and have something that nice. But look at the sky, look at the sand, the whole story here. It does work. I'd like to see the colors of that red lifeguard more. So I might walk to the left. Now, the disadvantage, if I walk to the left, I no longer see this lifeguard. So I would have to walk far enough, assuming there's lifeguard on that side. I don't know. Or I walk closer in to the right and nail it so that I see more of that. And then come in here with this more in the foreground, that in the background. And I think also in the foreground, these all these indents don't work. They sort of pull away from it. So I would crop up. Photographer, you decide how far up you want to bring this crop under here. And then I would also darken that just a little bit. Now, this curvature trail does work well. And if we had more of that curvature here that we could play with, it would be awesome, but we don't. So we've just got things that sort of catch your eye and don't move them. And so my eye's sort of catching there, and it is in the foreground, so we can crop it. And you decide, the photographer, how much to crop on the bottom. And then depending on how the horizon line falls, if you want to crop a little bit from the top, but for sure crop from the bottom, burn a little bit on the edges, and you are good to go. Another good job. Wow. All right, so I love it. Now, I'm going to tell you in advance, I love saturation. I love sharpness. Of course, I love HDR. So when HDR started, I was an HDR freak. So this photographer tweaked the buttons. It just makes me happy. But that being said, a lot of other photographers look at it. That's too much. So it's your work. It's your art. You decide, I like it. So I do it. I look at it, I like it. Now, that being said, I like this image, but it's busy. And I don't know what I need to be looking at. So I've got this beautiful tree in the foreground, got this tree in the middle zone, I got beautiful mountains in the background. I am just looking at everything. And because of that, it makes it a weak photo. So I want you to shoot not an F-16. I want you to think about what you want the viewer to look at. And in my case, in this image, I'm just going too far all around it. Technically, it's beautiful, a lot of great photography, but in terms of impact and what I want to look at, it is a little bit weak in that regard. So if you want to continue to manipulate it, you could maybe burn this right corner down, move this edge over a little bit. See this clump in here, I want to look at.
That's a camera.
Oh, for a split second, I thought I was hallucinating, but yeah, it could be. So I want to look at all that. And so I'm not telling you to shoot wide open, but shoot 4.0, shoot 5.6. And I don't know, this could have been a wide angle lens at 5.6 and it picked up the depth field. So if you shoot wide angle, I'm a wide angle freak. So a lot of depth of field with wide angle lenses. So who knows what we could be looking at.
Oh, I love dropping 3.914.
Okay, yeah, I've yet to go. It's on my to-do list. So that's awesome. Beautiful. All right, next image, Mike. All right, that's just awesome. That's beautiful. And when I pick my five, I can't pick five in the same genre, so I need to move them around. This one is up there. All right, so we've got foreground, we got background. So what makes a good photograph? Foreground, background, it's got good color, it's got leading lines, it leads me right through it. It's not dead center. So this is not right smack in the middle. It moves me right on through and I go right on out there. I don't think I burn anything down. I don't think I crop anything. Maybe I would darken that little slither right there. What would make it for me is if we had titles. Do we have titles?
Some people put titles on it, it's just a file name.
All right, so anyways, what would make it is what would the title be with this image, and that would then push me over how much I already like it to how much I extremely like it. So that's cool. That's just a great shot standing in the water. I was at spring break in Utah doing this, and I was freezing my buns off. But that's awesome. Not much to improve on. Great shot, and I better take notes on that one. Mike, next one. Love the color. Love the color. Love the whole view of North Georgia, you know, in the fall with these changing of the trees. So we do have a foreground. We've got a background. It is. So for me, I think this area right in here, I need a little bit more of or a little bit less of. So this is too close to the edge down here. Then we've got something going on there. So if you have more, if you shot one on another frame and you could just add it to this one at the bottom, if you didn't, if that's as wide as you could go. But the dilemma, I believe the dilemma, the more I look at it, is this horizontal line and then the detail in that rock right there. I believe that's what keeps bringing me. I'm stopping there. So I'm stopping here. So I'm not sure what to do with that. I want to crop the top, but then if I do, I'm going to miss out on the depth of all these hilltops up in here. So this is just a great shot. It lacks a little bit of impact though. So technically it's a good shot. I like it, and we all are gonna like it somewhat, but it doesn't make you say, wow, to a high degree. It does make you say, wow, I want it to really bring home and say, wow. So a great image. I like it. We'll manipulate a little bit here, and beyond that, nice work. Mike. I love it. You know, waiting for that sunset, waiting for the right time, waiting to capture it, getting the layering in the mountains, getting this cool, getting the starburst effect in here. There's a lot of positives to this photo. A couple ways that we could improve on the way we processed it. So I don't know if this is an HDR or I don't know what's going on right in here, but it looks a bit funky right in there. And then the family, at first I thought they were Boy Scouts, and they very well could be Boy Scouts. But there's a family here and their backs are to me. So I want to see a story. I want to look at the photo and see a family maybe watching the sunset, having a picnic, something here, but I don't know what's going on. Their backs are to me. So because their backs are to me, do we crop it out? Do we then move it? Do they add to the photo? Do these people add to the photo? Does the sidewalk add to the photo? And where do we move it over the line to improve the storytelling nature? So. Yeah, this part in here, the processing, you can, select it in the develop module and you could, tweak it and play with it and try to get it to soften so that these edges, I think that edge right inside there, bothers me the most. And then, the individuals, and I think the more I look at it, I probably would crop it over to here. Probably crop that there, and then when I did that, when I went back and looked, then it makes me want to crop it other. I then begin to tweak other ways, and so I don't know. I don't know if we tweak a little bit here and then we'll tweak a little bit down. But manipulate it, play with it, and see how you do with it. Overall though, I love it. It's a great shot. Mike? I went to this lighthouse 3 times.
I've been there.
I went to it 3 times. The 3rd time I finally got where the sun came out. So I got to confirm in my mind that this is Portland, Maine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Portland headline.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the story. I like the foreground. I like the background. If we could have timed it so that the light was on the top, whether the light, is the light spinning and turning? It doesn't? Okay.
It wasn't on.
Yeah. All right, so it was misty and foggy. And so because of that, we are a little bit soft. So I would I would manipulate my clarity and play with my sharpness some, change that a little bit. The horizon line is smack down the middle. So I think I'd come down off the sky just a little to move it. And then the things that bug me are these here. I think I can live with this one, and I might be able to live with this too. But those 6 little buds, yeah, those 6 buds, if we eliminate those 6 buds, and then if your personality can handle it, if you want to do boop, 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 and then go from there, that's your call. But for sure that's going to even it up some. So I want you to work it. Like I said, I think I went through 3, 4, 5 times. And as I walked around this area to shoot, you sort of go around it. My favorite place was just a little bit more to the right. And then I shoot wide angle because I'm a wide angle freak. So I shot with a 14mm lens and I captured all of this rock in the foreground and then did that. But wow. And you have people in it. It's a great shot. I would play with your contrast. Do you play at all in your development module?
Yeah.
Okay, play, and the reason why is I want you to get a little bit more contrast. I want you to get a little bit more snap. It's so flat. It needs that pop.
I was worried with the fog. I wasn't sure which direction to go with it.
Yep. So I'm there, and you guys are there in the fog. Clean your lens, the front of your lens a lot, because you're there thinking it's the fog, but it's the front of your lens picking up all that condensation.
Inland, it was bright and sunny that
Yeah.
day. By the time we got to Thursday.
So I want you to work it, think about it, work left, right, change your focal length, remember, think foreground, background, do those manipulations, let's see where we're at. Good job.
Thank you.
last time I brought up presentation, I was 50% right, but I love this presentation. So this photographer put a white edge on. I taught photography school for over, I'm a retired photography educator. So presentation is a requirement. Take photography school, you have to print, you have to do presentations, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I saw that when it came in, yeah, I saw a bunch of those about to say. But anyways, so I do look at presentation. I know it's digital, but it would be helpful, and just remember that down the road. If you get into it more and more and more, these little things like this make me happy. So just a little presentation. I can look at the image without it, but that holding it within this abstract form, this photographer manipulated the sliders to get it to sort of glow, which I already told you I'm a sucker for that. I love this image. Now, where could we improve on it? I don't like the fact that this is so close to dead center. So I might have shot it going down some, and then I might have shot it going up some, and then I would decide later. So, but right now, it works, right? Nothing wrong with this image. If I were gonna take this image to the next level, and this were mine, I would just crop from the bottom down a tiggle. It'll move the horizon line a little, and it would also take away, there's not much up there. The image is right here and below. It is the water reflections, it's the water movement. It's the threes that we talked about earlier. This 1, 2, 3. And if I was there shooting, see, I might even have got in and moved over a little bit, but I would have based it on this. And you were talking about a camel earlier. This could be evil. It could be something totally different. It depends on how you manipulate that. This thing, same way. I mean, this could be, yeah, very well.
That's my.
Well, okay, good. I love it.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing I think I would do, yeah, crop it from the top. If you want to tweak and burn here and there and all kinds of stuff like that and get fanatical about it, you can. This is a great image. It's a good job. Mike, next one. Okay, this is cool. All right, so what we have, we've got the foreground, and then we whip up here. We do have this in the center of the frame, and then we've got the sky, and we've got clouds up in here. So this circular pattern down in the foreground is what catches you first. You're coming in left to right, you're down at the bottom, it pulls you on into that circle. Then I see, I don't know what this other stuff is, and then I sort of follow the water as it goes down and the smokiness to it. It does seem a little bit flat, so I would make it a little bit contrast here, sharpen it up a little bit, and then on where I'm struggling with, if you guys can see it, there's yellowish green clouds. And see, once again, the green, and it could be the TV screen. The green does not work well with me. And the more I look at it, see the green up in there?
Oh, yeah.
I do like the texture of it though. The texture in here is cool. The greenness. So the photograph works. It is lacking in impact. So when I see it, it doesn't make me say, wow. I would also make it a little bit sharper, play with the contrast, potentially crop it some down. And if you did bring it down your problem is this tree right here. So you could only go down maybe to that point. But what we're trying to do is raise this horizon line. It's dead center in the frame. I'm just trying to raise that horizon line up just a little bit more. Or down. So at this point, we like this, but if you don't like it, you could crop it on out, which would then move it down. If you took this out, the emphasis becomes up here. You leave it in, we're fighting top and bottom. So those are the changes that I would make to that, but other than that, it's awesome. Good job. Another awesome shot. I love the deep blue sky and then contrasting with the grass and all these flowers in the foreground. Then we have a tree off to the left, far enough away from the edge that it doesn't create a tension point. I'm gonna come back here and look just to make sure. Yep, so that's far enough away that it doesn't mess with me here. So that works well. I believe, for me, my only problem with this image is how busy this foreground is from here over. So from here over, to me, it's busy. Now, were we hired to portray these, are they cotton? Is that cotton? Were we hired, or were we trying to portray the milkweed and how it is in the environment? So I don't know the context of how this photo was taken and what it wants to portray. If the milkweed is an important part of it, then this is awesome. This is how it has to be. You got the milkweed in this giant field, and this is the environment that it's in. If this is just a photograph that we are showing that we have great landscape skills, then maybe it's too busy in that foreground. The sky is incredible. It does not as intense as here. It lightens up as it goes up above. And then the positive or negative is this is busy, but then this is busy too. So the combination of both of those may even that out, and it depends on your personality, what you want to be there. Same thing if we had a title. So maybe if you're gonna, if you guys start doing competitions like that, maybe require a title.
Titles and digital files so that you can.
Yeah, if you want, and we have time. So what happens, you gotta be really fast, because we only do this for 2 hours, so tonight we have 28 images, 3 minutes, etc. So, but I would do real fast, just crop and do it, but yeah, great job. Okay. All right, so earlier, we had one of these, and we were concerned that the eyes weren't off enough. And now can you see how left to right it is straight? The nose is slightly crooked, but that seems to work because it seems like he's poking his nose out. Whether he is or not, I don't know. But the fingers grab your attention. These are tension points. They make your eye go right in here. So the photographer burned the edges down beautifully. We've got the face, we've got the hands right in here. Probably the only thing I might do, because I'm a weirdo, I might select the eyes and lighten the eyes just a little bit. And then this part of this leaf down in here, bring that down. So right now, I'm going to that and I'm going to this a lot. So I bring that down a tiggle, bring that down, bring this down, make the eyes a little bit brighter so that when I look at it, I snaps on the eyes. And that is beautiful. Good job. Oh, like it. So whenever I want to relax, I do macro because I can do it anywhere. And I do love macro. And this is a great image here. One of my favorites, and I'd have to see when I'm all the way done whether it's in my top 5. But I like the head-on shot. I like the depth of field. I like the color. I like the saturation. I like the clarity and sharpness of it. So it's not so much that it just grabs me, but it's enough for me to sit there and look at it. And then we've got this fly. I'm assuming it's a fly in there. And that really is what puts it way over the top. I like it at 45-degree angle. If I were going to manipulate this at all, maybe select the fly and make it lighter and see how you like it. Make it lighter, that's my first impression. Maybe make it darker. The more I look at it from a distance, I think if we lighten that fly, it will pop out even more. So right now I'm going around in the circle and I do get in there, but if we lighten this, and we could even just lighten the very center body of it so that it just goes right there. Yeah, the stem is nice. The background, the dropping off, the edges. Yeah, I even like these specular highlights coming through there. Great job, whoever the photographer is. That's beautiful. All right. So I like the location of the horizon line down here. I like the location of the sun, although it's dead center in the frame, it works. So a lot of times I'm going to look at something and that sun, it could be over a little bit more to the left, a twiggle to be dead center. But it potentially could break a rule. So there's a rule that you don't want this sun dead center in the frame, then it's almost there anyways. So if you do want to move it and see how that goes. Now, the reason why is this could be dead center, and then you've got all the stuff that follows around it, and then we've got these houses down here. Now, the houses down there at the bottom is a plus and a negative. From an artist standpoint, it's a negative. From the standpoint of someone showing where their home is in relation to the sun, and et cetera, then that might make it work. From a fine art standpoint, I might, in the develop module, just soften it and make it sort of dissolve in. So I've got problems with that. And then I also have problems with the way that the light is falling inside this edge right in here. Potentially this right over here. And it could have just been the way the light's hitting on this shrubbery where it has these hollow type effects, reflections, if that's what you want to call it. Down up in here, it's not really that bad here, just down in there. Now that I'm looking at it more, maybe we crop up half of it and then make it. If we do crop up half, then it moves the sun down below. So then we don't have to think about the dead center thing. The maker of the image, you decide how you want to do this. There's a lot of positives and there's a lot of things we could do to improve on. So you take it from there. Oh, by the way, photographers, I will give you my email address. And if you want to edit these images and send them to me, I'll look them over Also, if you send me an image, I can edit it and I'll email it back to you. I'll edit that image the way I think it should be edited and send it back to you. I'm gonna be traveling this weekend. I'm retired now. But anyway, send it to me. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. First second. So, good job on this. All right. The composition on this image is beautiful. So it's almost perfect in terms of the golden mean or the rule of thirds. So the golden mean would be here, 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 and here. Or the rule of thirds. So potentially to make it perfect, you could crop over a little bit to just move them off. In terms of top to bottom, it's within that golden mean. Left to right could tweak some. We've got good storytelling. We've got beautiful texture. We've got foreground. We've got background. We've got a story going. It's sharp. I like the clarity. I like the color. The water in the foreground as it drifts on back. That is just cool. It looks like this is a reflection up above, but I guess because I see them standing there, if I didn't see humans in it, I would think that they flipped the image and this was a reflection on the water. But there's people standing there, so like,
Ice skate.
oh,
Ice skate.
there you go. So you're seeing that reflection in there, which adds to it. You got storytelling. It's awesome. That is beautiful. This line here works for me. This line here works. That's nice. Very nice. Yeah, just minimal on the right-hand side is all I would do now. Mike, next one. Oh, wow. I gotta write that down. I see. Now I'm getting really messed up. All right, wow. All right, so I just looked up and said, wow. So that's the impact that I'm talking about. So then. All right, now I need to, I probably should have said this earlier. I'm a judge for the Professional Photographers of America. And with the PP of A, we want a perfect image. And we don't care how you do it. So when I tell you to make these manipulations here and there, and a lot of times in your rules, you can't do it. But when it comes to PP of A, we want to see the best image possible. And you just gotta get there. So the reason why I say that is impact is there. I see it, catches me. I would clone that out. I'd fix that there. Maybe the circular dot I get rid of, the rest I think I would stay in there. And if the photographer had, no, I was gonna say more of the body. No, I like it. I think I would stay just like that. It's backlit. We got beautiful detail in the eyes. The eye is sharp. The mouth as it goes in here. Wow. I'm looking at this reflection here, and it looks like there's something in it. So now I'm seeing this line. So I'm going to go back. Does the white below that mess with it? And you know what? I think you guys hold your hand up and bring it up to here and see what you think.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's because I've got that, the whiter and that line. So I don't know. That's something you manipulate and you play, or because we did that and we're struggling, maybe from this line down, we darken it. Darken it 10, 20%, darken it pretty heavy hard. And that might be it there. But the timing and how long you had to wait to get that image and just the timing and all that, that's just incredible. Another awesome job. I like the depth of this. I like the color. So when I say the depth, what I'm referring to is the sidewalk as it goes on in, these columns as they go all the way on down. So it's got that depth. It creates a three-dimensional feel when I look at it. And I know this one was not meant to be an architectural photo, but once again, I'm looking at the lines. So when I look at the lines, they are not straight. So you can see how this column tilts. This column tilts not as bad, but this one is a bad tilt to it. Okay. I believe with y'all's rules, can they straighten that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The only thing we really can't do is the bottom.
Okay, well then perfect. Now that's just me, so that messes me up there. I think the photographer was trying to even it out, the same amount on this side, that side, but because this curled in more, it makes me look at that side. So I think once we straighten it and nail that edge there, that would be perfect. Now we go to the door. So when I look at the door, the bottom of the door is brighter than the top of the door, which works. I'm fine because it's a window there. And then there's this step right here with that lighter step. You can argue all day long with other photographers on what to do, but that step does create the depth. So when you're looking at this image, you're going on in, and you do go into that, and you see that. So maybe darken it a tiggle. It might be too bright, I don't know, but it does work. And if you guys look at it, if you see that. Now, that being said, this one sort of works, these work, it brings you right on in. These don't work as much, especially that right there. So I would darken those a tiggle. Maybe bring these down a little bit, bring you right on in. Selling point would be the title. So this image, it does lack impact for me. So I like it. So the title, I don't know what the title would be, but if I had a title and I read it, I'd be, oh gosh, that's the deal. Whatever. And that might help with that. My next image. Beautiful. All right. This is another beautiful macro, but where I'm struggling here, and I'm going to continue to look at it, you guys look at it. Can we break the rule of it being dead center, or should it be off slightly? And so technically it's there. We got sharp, we got good exposure, we got beautiful color. What's sharp is important, and then we've got this outer ring, which isn't dead center and it's sort of oblong, but then we've got the majority of it dead center. So I am gonna play with it in my mind. And as I look at it, look how these, I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure, petals, look so three-dimensional compared to the light that's down below. It really comes through. I'm gonna say that I prefer this dead center moved off some. And that's just me, play with it if you're the photographer. What I did is I sort of created an L with my hand and sort of held it up and moved it around. That is your call. First of all, as it is, if the photographer's in here, this is a great shot. I'm sure the photographer's online. This is a great image. If you don't do anything with it, you sell this thing as it is, you put it on your website, that's awesome. Though I would want better presentation. So if you did something with it, do something cool in terms of the presentation, and then you can rip with it. If you want to move it off center, you can. That'd be your call. Yeah, that's awesome. Good job. Ooh.
I think that one had impact.
All right, so there's specular highlights in the audience. Well, one, you know, I like the photo. This is a beautiful photo. What makes it? The face is slightly brighter than everything else. Then the eyes have these specular highlights in it. I have been known to put in specular highlights if they are not there. So if this was the PPA competition, and it's not, if you look carefully, those specular highlights, there's 4 lights in it, which means it's a window. I don't know where it was. And so it might be taken off because there are 4. There's a grid in the eye instead of a circle. So I might pop it and put a circle in there. But that's just being really picky. I think I would crop to the right slightly. And then this horizon line dead center, I think I'd break the rule and I'd leave that. Right now, it's dead center top and dead center top to bottom, left to right. So the face is dead center, but the body goes this way. So if you take your hand and you crop this side, it's more natural. And it feels better. But if it's your work, you'll have to decide. All of this could go just like it is. It's a great image. Gee willikers, now we're just being picky. All right. So study the rules. Know the rules, but then know that you can break them. So here we're breaking some rules. Earlier, we broke some rules. And just know whether or not the image is worthy of breaking the rules. So in the PP of A, if this was in a category called the digital artist, there would be photographers that created this on their computer, and we wouldn't know. And so just know that's what you're competing with. You're trying to capture this in the real world. And a professional photographer is going to take one of the Bobcat, copy it, inverse it, flip it, soften it, and flip it underneath there without all of the sweat that you did. And they may win a heck of a lot more awards because of that. So be aware, you know, I submitted an image once and they were trying to decide if it's real or not. Did I do it in computer or did I capture it? Of course, you can't say anything. But that's the way you're trying to decide. If you did it in a computer, then they expect perfection if it's in the computer. So this one was done in camera, and it's beautiful. So great job, Mike. Are we getting towards the end?
2 more.
Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna pick bottom. Yeah. Yes. I love the beach feel. I love the abstract nature. I love the tilting horizon line, the intentional tilting horizon line. I love the double, you know, the bush is tilted, the horizon is severely tilted. And then we've got all these different other in there. What time do we have to be out of here?
By 9.
Okay. We got it.
8:50.
All right, so I am looking at this, and I'm trying to decide this piece down here. The piece down here, and then the fact that it goes all the way across and goes outside the frame. If it would have stayed within the frame, I'd have liked it more. The more I look at it, I don't really notice this, but I would still clean that up. So if I was out there shooting, I would try and capture more of these points that come to an end. So it would then not create these tension points that my eye goes to. So I'm looking here, and there's a bunch of them going that way, and it causes my eye to go there and create tension. And that's the reason why. If they ended, if you wanted to do it in Photoshop or however you wanted that to go, or go out there next time you're shooting, think about that, keeping it within your frame. And then also a title. So depending on the title, we could go different ways with this. So I love it. I love the tilty feeling. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's to improve on it, let's eliminate the bottom a little bit there. Whatever you want to do in this end, play with that. I would darken some of these in here a little bit, but a little bit brighter. So my eye goes over this direction. And I want my eye to go over here. So I bring these down a little bit to bring me over to this section more. Beyond that, that's neat. All right. One more?
One more.
Wow. All right, so we got foreground, we got background. It is sharp, the color is beautiful, we got saturation. We got the smoke as it ripples through. I got the headlight going. That's just awesome. So what makes this image for me is the stark, I'm going to say the color that pops, the 4501, the headlights, the 4501, and then the red on these doors. This, if I could see more of it, that'd be cool as heck, but I've got enough. We know that it's 4501, so we got the 501 partial in there. Compositionally, I wouldn't mess with it. So we've got it from this rule of thirds going to this rule of thirds. We got the bottom here. We got the color. We got the smoke. And now just being real picky. This corner I burned down, and maybe this corner burned down. But that's just being really picky. That's beautiful. As the photographer, I then start to put myself in that spot. And was I on a ladder? Was I standing in the back of a pickup truck? Because I feel like I'm higher than I would be. I'm only 5'7". I don't know. But that's what adds to it, is that you're there. So you're right in there. Yeah, just those tiny manipulations. That is beautiful. Good job. Is there another one?
No, this is the last one.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. Okay. Can I look at thumbnails?
see. And they don't have thumbnails, but we can go back and forth.
Okay. Well, we'll just work our way with the cat, the fish, ice cave. Oh, there was another one.
Too, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. All right, let's go back to the beginning.
All right.
So just start the slideshow. Okay, so now we go. Let's go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Okay. Go back one just to make sure. And go to the next one. And the next one. Okay, next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Go to the next one. Next one. Next one. All right, go to the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay, next one. Okay. Next one and next one. I think that one's good. All right. And next. Oh, darn it. All right. Keep going. Okay, so we need 5.
Go change it.
Yep.
See what I'm doing.
Okay. Number 1 is going to be the macro flower with where's dead center. So the second. Number 2, the fish in the mouth towards the end. Three is going to be the abstract of the water. The 3, the very beginning. That's this one. Yeah, let's keep it there. Then
They can't have reflection in the water. 4. And then number 5 is the film one. No, that's not it.
All right, so we've got our winners. And
By the way, a lot of those were incredible. All the work was very good. Just some that were to me had better impact. Rose to the top. There were easily 8 that I'd like to have given acknowledged 8 of them, but I had to pick 5, and then I could have easily stood there a lot longer to try to figure out which ones to go with. The one on film, just the fact that you shot film, and I did. So
this is 5th place, so this is Brian Garris.
you great job getting out there.
This 4th place is, the right one, yeah, Linda Schultz. Third place. Big Snoke.
I love that road and the color and all that. So
I gotta tell you the story.
yeah. And
Second place. Second place is Cindy Cruz. And drum roll for first place. She's not here tonight, but I hope she's watching. This is Danielle McCann.
yeah, that one just, I love it, the contrast in there. I brought maybe 8 cards. If there's anyone that wants to email me images, I can give you a card. Yeah, just a picture of it. Okay.
It was on the announcements, yeah.
I'm an educator, I'm a retired educator, so tons of students, tons of people email me, I don't mind, it's what I do. Some of them, if you want to manipulate, I don't mind manipulating, send it back to you, give you an idea of what I believe, and then you do whatever you want. All right.
All right, so, and as Travis said, congratulations to the winners, but remember, it's not all about competition, it's a lot about learning. I learned a lot, my image, other people's images, so it was really, really cool. And Jeff, I think you did a great job, so
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. So as the year progresses or next year progresses, I do a presentation on print competition by way of the PPMA. And so you guys need a spot for that. And then I can do on inspiration and art photography, things like that too. So I don't mind. I retired now 2 years. I joined the North Georgia Photography Club the month that I retired. And I came to a meeting, and then after that, I haven't been here.
It's like I knew Jeff because we were friends online, but I didn't think we'd ever met in person, but I remember seeing you at a meeting when we were in Dahlonega. So our next meeting is going to be here at the Bowen on Thursday, February 20th. I'll make sure the Zoom links say Thursday and not Friday. Our presentation is going to be Dusty Doddridge talking about spring photography, and we will not have a photo challenge in February. It's going to be a speaker. And
Won't be in the month.
right, the photo challenges are going to be months we don't have a speaker. The next photo challenge is going to be April. February, we have Dusty Doddridge. March is going to be Zoom only. And Mike Motes is the speaker for that one, and that's on macro photography. April will be the next photo challenge. We don't know what the challenge is yet. Travis will make that decision. giving us enough time so that if you want to take a picture for the challenge, you can. If you want to go to your archives, as long as you stay within 2 years, you can. But we want you out there shooting. We know not everybody can get out there. That's why we don't say it has to be taken this week. But when you know the challenge, the theme ahead of time, it's great if you can go and shoot for that. I find that more fun myself when I'm able to do that. And that's it. Did anybody online have any questions? Were you able to hear the critiques? Is anybody still?
Just so you know, the audio was mostly pretty good. It choked up a little bit periodically, but I could understand them quite well.
Okay.
The only problem
Mike, yeah.
Mike, the only problem I had was when he said this area or that area or the other area, I had no idea what he was talking about.
True,
Yeah,
same
that was
here.
one of the things we were saying. We wish we had a camera facing that way so that you could see where he was pointing, because that was very helpful. But that's something that we can work on next month. Maybe instead of sharing the screen, we just move the camera so that we can see the monitor and what the judge is pointing at. So it's, again, this is kind of new doing it this way, but I like that idea. A lot of good ideas, and feel free to post your ideas, suggestions online on the Facebook page. You can message me, message Travis, because if you message me, I'm going to send it to Travis. But it's a learning process as we kind of change the format around this year, but I think it's going to be good. And that's it. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us online and here, and we will see you next time.
Everybody.